Hey everyone, it's TVMayho here again, and today we are going to talk about The Handmaid's Tale. What episode are we on? The 5th one, which is called Faithful. So, for you guys first tuning in, just to give you guys a happy reminder, this next part will have spoilers in it pertaining to the 5th episode of The Handmaid's Tale. So if you haven't watched the original on Hulu, go ahead and watch it, and then come back and discuss with me. So, of course, the first piece of outrageous news is, of course, Ofsteven, or currently known now as Ofsteven, is back. Of course, she's really not the same person because she's went through the surgery. I think she's kind of been outcast from the network, and of course, June's worried about her because June is they're friends now. So, Ofsteven is telling her about Mayday, and you know, at one point in the middle of the episode, she kind of wants to connect with her by telling her, like, her real name and all that kind of stuff. But, of course, the new or old, I guess you'd say, Ofsteven is telling her, hey, like, stay away from her. I don't want to get in the same trouble she was in. But, you know, I feel bad for her because she was in this surgery and now she's out here and everyone's ignoring her like she doesn't exist, all because she got in trouble and she got saved. But she went OG, okay, and she stole that car and drove around in the circle, and it's just like June said, she had a crap ton of power at that point. Now she scared the crap out of me because when she ran over that dude, I didn't see it coming. I was thinking maybe she's gonna drive around him or something, but she drove straight through him, guts everywhere. But the important thing was that she did show that, you know, even though something traumatic happened to her, she was still, I guess, the same person. And maybe that's what she was trying to prove to her organization, that she can still be an asset even though she has gotten in trouble. Of course, the sad thing is she's probably going to get sent away to the colonies. I don't really think they're going to save her again at this point because she's caused, you know, 2 different sets of trouble. Maybe they have the same policy as baseball. You get 2 strikes and then you're out. So maybe they'll give her one more try, but I doubt it. So let's get to the part that is the main cheese of this episode, which is the fact that Miss Waterford asked June and Nick to have sex because she thinks the commander is barren. If you remember in my previous episodes, we found out that it was one of the forbidden words. So I was kind of shocked she even thought this about her own husband. Like, that is not very good in terms of their marriage, but you know, whatever. Maybe her only goal is to have children. Maybe they're not really like together. So it kind of shocked me when she did that because first I knew it was weird. She was asking her to go out in the garden and be like, oh, come help me garden or whatever. I was like, okay, cool, a new task. That's good because I would want to do something else too. But it turned out that wasn't it. So the difference here between them, June and Nick, having sex compared to her and the commander, I feel it was more of a connection type thing. It wasn't really like a 4-legged womb situation. It was like, these are 2 people that really aren't forced necessarily to have sex with each other. I feel they were open to it. And if you see at the end of the episode, June goes all the way to his house, cabin, whatever you want to call it, and they actually have like intimate sex. And I don't know, to me I felt this part was kind of a sense of her power, but at the same time I think it was a sense of his power because we find out that he is a part of Under His Eye. So it's kind of like you're doing something you really want to do but you're not supposed to do kind of thing. So I think it was kind of a thrill aspect kind of for the both of them, because from the beginning we've seen like Nick's kind of been watching her, but maybe it is because he's under his eye, part of them, and not because he likes her. But I think it is because he likes her. I think it's kind of both, because otherwise June wouldn't have said before the first time they had the sexual encounter that she felt like she was cheating on her husband. When Miss Waterford told June to come outside and help her garden, she told her that she only had a limited time in the household still, which made me think, okay, maybe these are limited visits because they only give you a certain amount of months to perform your duties, as they would say. And then once you perform those duties, I guess you would either stay, because Janine's still staying, or you would leave. But to me, I think that's messed up, because some people, they take a long time, to get pregnant. People plan these out, fertile days, just like these people do in this society. So I think it takes time. I don't think it's fair to automatically kick the handmaids out. But also, you saw that in a lot of these situations, June was thinking about killing Miss Waterford with the shears. I would have too, because Miss Waterford has put her through so much crap in these last couple episodes, from locking her into her room, talking down to her, making her seem like she's stupid, like all this stuff. And then all of a sudden she wants June to just be okay with the fact that she told Nick, the both of them, to have sex, and that she said a forbidden word. And on top of that, Miss Waterford's trying to cover it up, because she's trying to make it seem that the commander's done it. They have sexual altercations, like, let's say a couple hours before the ceremony is actually supposed to take place. So then it appears, something different. It's all really ridiculous. The commander continues to say that it's a love versus lust thing, that love isn't actually real, that lust is really the only thing that's happening. And I don't know, to me, maybe it's a girl's answer too for saying, love is there and existent. But when he said that it was all lust, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, because to me, my opinion is, if you lust someone, you can't stand to be around them, ultimately. Like, the only reason is almost like how they do in the show with the handmaids and the woman and the wife and the commander. Like, literally, there is no connection at all. And I understand some people, they can have sex without connections, blah 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 blah, but it's like, in terms of this lust versus love thing, I don't think that is the same thing. But again, let me know what you guys think about what he said with love versus lust. Do you think it's real? Do you think you can only have one? Can there be both? But to wrap this episode up, the only other important thing that happened was she was flashing back to when she was meeting Luke in the regular society, and we find out too that also when she started getting close with him, he was a married man. So I don't know, to me that's weird, because when I was originally watching the show, I cracked the joke like, oh, she's used to this. Luke was a married man, the commander's a married man, she should be comfortable. But I know it's a bad joke. But I want to also know here, what do you guys think about that, in terms of her, she was having sex, with a married man as she was single. For me, though, I don't agree with those situations. I understand people sometimes say, oh, the husband isn't getting what they want out of the marriage, so they go somewhere else. But to me, it's all about communication. I think it's always been about communication. If you've noticed, every one of these episodes, the title sometimes ties into the episode. 9 times out of 10 it does. Now, I was just thinking about it. How does faithful tie into here? I'm not exactly sure, because in the previous episode, episode 4, the title directly tied in. It was on the wall. Faithful, I'm trying to think, maybe it was about June thinking she was being unfaithful to Luke, which had to do with thinking about being faithful. Maybe it was Miss Waterford being faithful to the commander, but in a different way, obviously, having him think like, oh, that his wife, or that he's actually bearing children for them. Or faithful. You know what? Now that I think about it, I think faithful is the fact that Ofsteven stayed true to who she was. If you think about it, even though she stole that vehicle and she went ham for those 30-minute and 2 period of time, I think it was still showing that she is the same person, even though the surgery has happened, since everybody was treating her unfaithful. But 2, I think Faithful has to do with something with June and Nick, but I still haven't figured it out yet. So hopefully, maybe I'll figure it out in the next episode and I'll let you guys know. Maybe you guys know what it meant. So let me know if you know how the title tied into the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. I know I asked you guys a lot of questions during this episode because apparently I'm a little confused as well. So maybe you guys can help me with the confusion. Go ahead and, like, subscribe, leave comments below to help me understand and so we can be on the same page. And I hope you guys have a great day, a great week, and I'll see you next week when the next episode comes out.